G.S. Brooks of the Average Movement. Y'all know what it is. I like to introduce a prominent writer of The Laws That Lie, Mr. Hassan Salam. Any introductions, brother?
Yeah, my name is Hassan Abdul Salam. I just want to thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast. Listen, I'm the founder of Bar Masters Extreme, which is one of the greatest health and fitness phenomenons that hit the streets of New York and then went abroad. Like I said, we started local, we went global. Inspired a lot of young adults right now to get into this bar game. The owner of Luxury Car Services here, located in Atlanta, Georgia, and Buckhead areas. We've been doing a lot of celebrities over the years, starting in 2014 until present. Look out for the Laws That Lie podcast. When it launches, we're going to invite G.S. Brooks back again. He did a wonderful job the first time we had him on the podcast. I really enjoyed it.
So, Mr. Hassan, we've been talking about it offline, but, it's a lot of wild stuff going on in the nation right now. And I know that you have a keen eye for how to implement the law into basic human behavior and pathology and psychology. And so I wanted to get your take on some of the things that's been going on in the United States, and particularly things that's affecting the Black community.
We'll be back with Brooke Taylor, who's live outside the courthouse. What do we have?
Hi, Jesse. Some pretty breaking news to give you right now. The jury has sentenced Karlmelo Anthony to 35 years behind bars after finding him guilty of murder. I'm told that he is eligible for parole after he serves half his time. The jury had the option to give him as much as 99 years behind bars. But again, they have chosen to give him 35 years. And I do want to mention, we showed you those protests, a bunch of supporters out here. They've erupted again. Pretty shocking. This is a direct quote. I just heard one supporter say, quote, "Those twins," meaning the victim and his twin brother who were there at the time, are, quote, "domestic racist terrorists." So pretty unbelievable, Jesse.
All right, well, only 17 years and he's available for parole. Kind of seems soft. I would have given him the chair, but that's just me, Brooke. Thank you so much.
Clear violation of our Eighth Amendment of the constitutional right, which is unduly harsh and excessive punishment. But this is not abnormal for our people, man. I mean, this is normal. But the thing is that we're becoming comfortable with torture and excessive punishment. And, this is why I wrote the book, because these laws don't apply to us, man. And that's evident. That's evident right there. We have a right against cruel and unusual punishment according to the Eighth Amendment of the constitutional right. However, this happens all the time. Just this while I was watching the news, guy went into the courthouse, truck driver. He went in there I don't even know what he went in there for, but they told him he has to go back to his car, put his phone back in the car. He went back, put his phone back in the car, tried to get back in the courtroom. The court guy denied him access, and then getting ready to get a warrant because of the fact that they were going to say that it was a no-show.
Right.
And they would have put a warrant out for his arrest. He kind of went back out and tried to abide by the law. He seen them letting other people in. He decided, well, maybe they'll let me go in now. And like normal with us as African-American people, we believe in the law. We trust the law. We try our best to follow the law, but the law just doesn't work for us, man. The court officer maced him in his face. After he maced him in his face, the guy went out trying to clear his eyes because it went in his eyes and messed his eyes up, and then tried to snuff him from behind. It just so happened his instincts allowed him to duck, and he started to defend himself and pounced upon the court officer, which, rightfully so. And then they ended up handcuffing him. But what's sad is that he's a father of a few kids. He's married, legal, law-abiding citizen, taxpayer, a taxpayer. And the reason I say this is because these people in these courthouses, the president, these are our taxes that's paying for all of this stuff.
Yes.
We're paying for this guy's job, and this is how they treat us in return. So the man ended up now, before he went to court, which he's just going to court just trying to follow the law, he had 20/20 vision. His eyesight is messed up for life now. He can't even work anymore. The pepper spray was so strong that they had to clear out the entire courtroom. Wow. Now, the law states that you're not even supposed to spray pepper spray in a public area like that, unless it's an extreme emergency. The man did nothing wrong. He didn't break any law. So you talk about cruel and unusual punishment, the Eighth Amendment of our Constitution. I had one brother had the nerve to tell me that I shouldn't put the subtitle, the Bill of Rights is the Bill of Wrongs. Why are you putting the Bill of Wrongs on there? I mean, don't you understand that according to the Bill of Rights that they have us labeled at 3/5 of a man? Did you know that?
Mm.
And did you know when you talk about slavery's been abolished unless you commit a felony or either a crime? Now you're a slave again. Did you know that applied directly to African American people? I mean, 3/5 of the man, that means you're no longer human. And once they dehumanize you, they don't feel bad about whipping you to oblivion.
Yes.
You know, which leads me to the point again, during slavery, you have these medical terms. Drapetomania. You try to run away from slavery, you suffer from a disease called drapetomania, according to these people. This is the government. This ain't just a few white people. This is the government. And the solution to drapetomania, to help your mental illness, is whipping the shit out of you.
I definitely want to unpack a couple of things that you said because they was key things. Number one, the 13th Amendment of the Constitution says slavery is permitted if convicted for a felony. And at the time in 1865, when they implemented the 13th Amendment, they found a loophole in which to re-enslave us. And that's when they started making all of these different laws specifically for Black people, like vagrancy laws. If you don't have a job, then you're vagrant. You could go back to jail. Different laws about racial marriage. If you marry a white woman, then that's a crime and it's against the law. They could send you to jail for that. If you steal a pig, that was equivalent to robbing the gentry reserves in Europe, and they could give you long sentences for that. So it was targeted law to re-enslave Blacks. And then we didn't have the cover of the so-called slave master anymore once the government took over the slave trade. Because when the so-called slave master had their slaves, they had an incentive to keep them at least a little bit healthy so they could get the work out of them. But when they publicized it, so to speak, by putting it into the government hands, they was going to have an innumerable amount of people coming through because they could arrest people for whatever that they wanted to. And this is what we're seeing now, how there's a two-tier justice system and the laws that are on the books are not even being enforced when there's somebody that's Black that's in question. For example, this young man right now, Karlmelo Anthony. It was a couple of things that I found wrong with that video. That's why I played that video for you to see it. Number one is they gave him 35 years. In a state like Texas, where they have specific stand your ground laws, where you could stand your ground if somebody is accosting you and you could defend yourself. Texas is known for that. There's guys that's walking around with guns on their hip legally because they have open carry laws where you could openly carry your weapon. So this young man, he had a utility knife and it was only 3 inches long. So that made it not illegal. The only issue is, and this is what I hear a lot of white people trying to justify the sentence of this young Black male, was that he had it on school ground. Now, the problem with it is this. He was accosted by a group of guys. From my understanding, it was 4 guys that approached him. The day before, he was actually underneath the same tent because he was visiting somebody over there. He knew somebody over there. So he was welcome there. But the victim that ended up getting killed, he was a victim and a predator, to be honest, because he was the one that was initiating the issue. He was intimidating and bullying a young Black man, Karlmelo Anthony. So he wasn't there the day before because he was suspended from participating in the tournament. So he didn't know that Karlmelo Anthony was there hanging out with them the day before in that same tent. So when he came and when he seen him over there and he seen that he wasn't from his same team, him and a group of guys approached him and said, yo, get up out of here. And started to threaten him, telling him what they're going to do if he don't leave immediately. And he like, yo, don't touch me, because if you touch me, you're going to see what happens. From what reports say is the guy ended up touching him. He pushed him. And that's what they're saying. We don't know because they haven't let out the footage. There is footage of this that they're not giving to the public. But at the end of the day, there was an assault, a physical assault that was started by the guy that ended up killed in this matter. And then he ended up getting stabbed 1 time. He didn't get stabbed twice, 2, 3 times. You know, it wasn't a thing. It was like, get off me. And he ran and get up out of there and went right to his coach and said, yo, listen, coach, protect me. These guys they messing with me. I stabbed this guy, and he was worried about if the guy was all right. This was a good kid. He was not a street kid. His family was not street people. They was middle class or upper middle class. So they didn't even know how to handle it because none of them had ever been in trouble before. I said all of that to say the news reporting on this issue was biased. If you heard what the guy said in the news report, he's supposed to be reporting from an unbiased place as being a journalist. However, he's giving his opinion. I think that he should have got the chair. It's these type of news reporting that's flaming the fires of the racial divide in the United States, because when they're looked at as credible sources, because certain populations in the United States of America look at the news as a credible source. So when they're hearing these things, they begin to get their own biases and their own judgments and justifying the notorious historic all-white jury striking all black jurors off. This is what was happening.
Well, first of all, you got to understand what news broadcast was broadcasting. It was Fox. Fox is part of the Trump MAGA. And it's sad because I look at all different, I look at MS Now, Al Jazeera, CNN, go to CBS, ABC. I try to look at all of the news just to see the various biases, because there are biases, no doubt about it. If you look at CNN mostly leans towards Democrats, right? But if you look at Fox leans towards Republicans. Specifically, they kowtow to Trump, his regime. That's what you're looking at when you look at that news. So you shouldn't expect anything else, because they're not going to go against what Trump says. And this is a thing that's happening right now. It's very dangerous, more dangerous for African-American people, because we're always the ones that get the brunt end of the stick. If anybody's feeling it, we feel it 3 times as hard. There's another news now with Cuomo. They don't side with Democrats or Republicans. And also Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is pretty good to look at too.
So do you think that there was justice in this particular case?
Oh, hell no. Like I said, it's harsh and excessive punishment. There's somebody else that has a similar crime. He's a white kid, and I think they let him off on bail. And I don't know his name. I don't really follow it that closely, but got like a slap on his wrist. Same exact thing. He stabbed the guy in the same exact situation. He was white. He's black. He got 35 years. The other guy probably got 8 months. If that. People know about it. It's all over the news. It's all over social media. They're doing the contrast comparison. But we could do many, many of these comparisons with black people. Black people are railroad. Most of the people that you see that's being exonerated now after doing all of these years, they black. They black people. I hardly ever see white people on death row getting exonerated. It's terrible. What happens is, look, I'm scared, man. I'm scared. I go outside. I watch my back and my front. I'm scared for our youth. And that's the reason why I'm on this podcast. Enjoyed it. But right now, I'm focused more on the Laws That Lie podcast and my books. One of them is Volume 1, The Laws That Lie. I advise you to go to Amazon. You can get it there. Or if you want, you can connect with me on B2B Networking, which is also going to be another launch. It's going to be like LinkedIn on steroids. So that's Volume 2. This is called The Saga Continues. You can get it on Amazon, or you can hit me direct, and I'll send you a signed copy if you want.
Anybody that want to purchase a copy and support another Black Brothers business, go to the link in the description of the video, and the link will be there so you can get direct access to the Laws That Lie. The psychology of freedom. What is freedom? Is it simply the absence of bars and chains? Or is it something deeper? The psychology of freedom takes readers inside the walls of prison to explore a profound truth. A person can be physically free, yet mentally imprisoned, and physically confined, yet mentally and spiritually liberated. Through lived experience, the psychology of freedom reveals how correctional institutions shape behavior, relationships, and identity, not only for prisoners, but for families, communities, and society as a whole. Discover the hidden psychological effects of incarceration, the pathologies that can outlast a prison sentence, and the mindset shifts that can transform adversity into opportunity. This is more than just a book about prison. It's a book about reclaiming the mind. The Psychology of Freedom by G.S. Brooks. Available now on Amazon.com. Because true freedom begins within.